Hello YouTube, I'm Jack Clark, the Eagle Musketeer, coming to you with another video. How are you? So of course today I'm going to be coming to you with another archetype analysis. This is of course the last archetype that is going to be coming out in Return of the Duelist, and this is the Geargia archetype. Now I do apologise for not having done this video sooner. I had honestly completely forgot about it. However, I looked through all my files and I didn't remember it, of course, because of course we have the Return of the Duelist sneak peeks that are coming out this weekend, and I'm really excited. And I think I've left the best till last, of course, competitively speaking, mind you. So today, of course, the Geargia archetype even. So today I'm going to start off with Geargia, the founding member of the archetype, and of course didn't actually come out in Return of the Duelist and is actually released in Generation Force. So of course this is a Earth level 3, 500 attack, 1000 defense type monster. Basically you contribute it to special summon a level 4 machine type monster from your graveyard, however the monster's effect is negated. Now that last clause, the negation of their effect, really does hamper this card's use, simply because of course you could, in any other case, you could summon it, tribute it, and then summon a machine gear frame from the graveyard, or a gadget for an extra +1, but you can't, which really does suck. And the fact that it's a level 3 in that case even hampers it even greatly. But of course, actually, this does have some great synergy with some of the other cards in the archetype. And I do apologise for saying archetype and not archetype. It's just easier for me to say that. But Geargia is going to be one of those cards which you may not see in Geargia decks, but it is still a good, viable option for them. So next off, we're going to go with the upgraded form of Geargia, and that is Geargia MK2. Now Geargia MK2 is also a level 3 monster with 1000 attack and 500 defense, reversed from its original. But of course, its effect is when it's normal summoned or flip summoned, you can special summon a Geargia monster from your hand or your graveyard in face-up defense position. Now immediately we have our own Marauding Captain, but in addition to being able to summon it from the hand, you can summon it from the graveyard. So in addition to it being a Marauding Captain, it's also its own kind of junk synchronesque monster. Now, this is really good. Of course, alongside the original Geargia, you have options to either reuse Geargia's effect, or you can obviously go into instant rank freeze, which of course is very good to have in this deck. Means instant Zen mains, which is also a machine, mind you, so you can also make use of its typing as well. But of course, instant rank freeze is always a good option for it, and of course, early game you'll be summoning from the hand, but later game you'll have the option to summon from the graveyard, which is always good to have options, and of course it means you can have more pluses. Now the Geargia archetype does focus entirely on getting pluses and being able to overwhelm your opponent with this advantage you're generating. So of course, being able to put the advantage you do gain directly from your hand or your graveyard to the field is very, very good. So next off, we got Geargia Accelerator, or Geargia Excel. Now Geargia Accelerator can be special summoned from your hand if you control a Geargia monster, and of course you special summon it in face-up defense position. And of course, when it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target a Gear monster in your graveyard, accept another Accelerator, and then add that target to your hand. And of course, it has 1400 attack and 800 defense. And being a level 4 means you have rank 4 options. Now, Geargia Accelerator, now a couple of things you need to know about this card. Now, originally, of course, the secondary effect to add a Gear monster from your hand to your hand means that it will miss the timing. So, of course, when it's sent to the graveyard, it can't be for a tribute summon or for a synchro summon, because obviously it will miss the timing. It's a when this card you can do this, so that misses the timing, which does suck. But of course you won't be using it primarily for that effect. Of course you can special summon it, and maybe your opponent will destroy it, and you can reuse some stuff in your graveyard. But if you control the Gear monster, you can special summon it from your hand, and being a level 4 means it's your easy rank 4 fodder. So this will mean you can get Gigantex out really quite quickly, and of course, you have all the other options for rank 4s. So this is a very good card simply because the deck amasses a lot of advantage, and it allows you to it's just a really freaking good card. So it allows you to get that advantage and then put it onto the field really freaking easily. So let's get onto this generation of freaking advantage, and that is Geargia. Now Geargia, of course, level 4 and is 1100 attack, 1900 defense. Now once per turn you can change this card into face down defense position, and when it's flipped face up you can add a Geargia monster from your deck to your hand, except another Geargia. So of course, just this is where you get all your advantage from. And of course, unlike the other Stratoses that other archetypes have, you can reuse this and abuse this every turn. Now early game, this is very, very good, simply because 1900 defense, because you'll most likely be setting it and then flipping it next turn or whenever it's attacked. 1900 defense means that if it does get attacked, it's actually got quite a good chance of surviving. But of course, when it is flipped face up, you get a Geargia monster, so if it does survive, it means next turn you can flip it face down and then reuse it again, and immediately flip it face up, actually, what you can do. And of course, using stuff like Book of Moon means you can flip it face down again. You get a lot of advantage from this card. So if you do want to use Geargia, you kind of need to know how flipping works, because if you didn't summon it summon it that turn, then you can flip it face up again once you've used its effect, which means you get an immediate +1, which is very, very good. And it means, of course, you can search for an Accelerator, go for rank 4 play immediately. It's just really freaking good. And of course, this is going to be one of those money cards, and it may be a super rare. I can see it being a super rare, but it's a very, very good card. So next off, we got Geargias. Geargias, of course, is a level 4 as well, so of course rank 4 options there as well. So attack points, it has 1500, and defense, it has 500. And of course, its first effect actually is that it gains 200 attack for each face-up Geargia monster you control. So of course, with all of your monster card zones used, you have a chance of gaining a 2500 attack point beta. However, keep in mind, of course, that may not be the most reasonable kind of effect to have. But keep in mind, if you have two Geargia monsters on the field, it'll have 1900, and that is including itself. So you only really need to have one other Geargia monster on the field for it to be a 1900 beta, which is quite respectable. But of course, you won't be using it primarily for that effect. You'll be using it to tribute itself to special summon a Geargia monster from your deck, except a Geargia Arsenal, and of course you summon it in face-up defense. That is really good. They have their own Lone Fire Blossom now. Now, of course, I said earlier on that Geargiano, the first card I talked about, had some synergy with some other cards in the archetype. Now, of course, it does. You use Geargiano, tribute itself to summon a Geargia Arsenal that you have tributed or you sent to the graveyard otherwise. And then, of course, Geargia Arsenal, although its effects are negated on the field, you tribute it as a cost, which means it's off the field. So then, of course, you can get to special summon a Geargia monster from your deck. So Geargiano means you can reuse Arsenal a lot of times, but of course, Geargiano MK2 also means you can reuse it, and of course, you can search for it with Accelerator, and then Arsenal can search for Geargiama, and freaking alongside Accelerator means easy rank 4. So this card, this archetype's way of getting advantage, they all kind of tie in together and are looking out to be really good. So let's get to the last card of the archetype, which isn't technically a Geargia monster, but of course is. And that is Geargigant X. Now, Geargigant X is a rank 4 monster and has 2300 attack and 1500 defense. It requires 2 level 4 machine monsters to be summoned, of course, and once per turn, you can detach an Xyz material from it to add a level 4 or lower machine type monster from your deck or your graveyard to your hand. Its other effect, of course, is that when it leaves the field, you can target a level 3 or lower Geargia monster from your graveyard, and then you can special summon it. Now, with that in mind, this is really good. This is the money card for Return of the Duelist, of course, not just because of the Geargias, but also because it has great synergy with other machines. Of course, its effect to detach an Xyz to search for a level 4 or lower machine type monster means it's very, very good with gadgets. Gadgets being very good at making rank 4s, and of course, you can detach to summon and to search for another gadget. Of course, it can be used in loads of other things. You can use it alongside machiners with Gear Frame, of course. Gear Frame being able to, and then search for another Gear Frames, which means you can then search again for a Machina Fortress or a Machina Cannon to then summon it. It's very, very good to get huge beaters out. Sorry, pardon me. And of course, that's really where Geargias actually shine, is that they can be used with other machine archetypes really efficiently. Of course, many decent machine archetypes do focus on getting advantage, and of course, that works well with the Geargias very well. Of course, fuse these with your machiners or your gadgets, you get easy +1s. But this is going to be the money card of the set. So you're going to want to try and pick up this card if you can, because it will escalate in value quite quickly, I imagine. And of course, and it does look like it's going to be a secret rare, no less. So of course, that's pretty much it. Of course, give me your ideas and what you'll think of the Geargia archetype in the comments down below or as a video response. Of course, in addition to that, if there are any other cards you want me to talk about in future videos or any other topics you'd like me to cover, do also say in the comments down below. I really do appreciate it. So of course, I'm Jack Clark, this is YGO Britain.